Well, great. Thank you, Rome, for that great introduction, for your wonderful words. And we are saying the exact same things. And so I'm anxious to see the policies that you talk about be in the final recovery package. And I want to thank the Blue-Green Alliance and the United Steelworkers and the Sierra Club and all those that are represented now as part of the coalition. I understand you stormed the Hill yesterday. Is that right? Who went? Who was able to go? Okay, good. We may need you to come back. No, I am so glad that you are here. You couldn't have picked a more important moment and a more important topic, that is for sure. And I want to say a special thank you to Dave Foster, the Executive Director of the Blue-Green Alliance, and how proud we are of all of your work. You know, I'm so glad you're here this year. Last year you were in Pittsburgh, and I was here, not able to be here, and so I talked through a video, which I didn't get to see all of you. So now I'm very glad to have the opportunity to be here in person, and I am so impressed with what you have been doing, what you have been able to do to bring people from all walks of life, from all kinds of places and states. And Michigan, I know, is in the house. Where's Michigan? All right, Michigan. Of course we would be here, right? But it is wonderful to see labor and environmental advocates and businesses and consumers and advocates and everybody coming together right now, because we have enormous challenges that we are facing today, and it's critical that we really face them together. This is a time of change. This is a year when people stood up and said, no more of the status quo. We want to change. It's the year when people said, we understand that there are big problems, but we're willing to stand up and be a part of big solutions, bold solutions. It's a year in which Americans have said we understand that we've got to tackle energy and where we're going in terms of our dependence on foreign oil and global warming, and we want to make sure that there are jobs in every single part of that. Good jobs, good paying jobs, green jobs as a part of meeting that challenge. And so it is a very exciting time to be involved. And I think the fact that there is so much American ingenuity and innovation right now, as always, we step up when there's a challenge. And we have people who are smart and energized and creative and entrepreneurs willing to step forward. Now it's just about working together to really harness all of that. You know, it reminds me, coming from Michigan, I have to say, I have to harken back to a time when I don't remember personally, but this year marks the 101st anniversary of the Ford Model T. The car and Henry Ford, his assembly line, revolutionized mass production, lowered vehicle prices, gave people reliable transportation. But even more important than what it did for the economy is what it did for the American people 101 years ago. And a few years, I think most importantly, a few years after the introduction of the Model T, there was another very important revolution that happened. Henry Ford said, shouldn't people be able to buy my cars? And he doubled the wages for people working an 8-hour day from $2.50 to $5. And for the first time, auto workers could afford to buy the cars they were making. This was an important revolution. This was the beginning of the American auto industry, and more importantly even, the beginning of the middle class. It was the beginning of the middle class in America and in the great state of Michigan. And I have to tell you that I'm very excited and very proud of the fact that it is auto manufacturing, and more broadly manufacturing, that has for a generation created the middle class of this country. Fast forward 101 years, and today we are poised for another revolution. And all of you being here really is evidence of that. Just think, 100 years ago, there was an unmet need for personal transportation that sparked an opportunity for an entire generation to have economic opportunity and to have the American dream. And that's really what we're talking about here. We have an unmet demand now, a demand for clean American energy. And just as the Model T created economic opportunity for a generation, meeting the needs of today can spark a green revolution that will create good-paying jobs, grow wealth, and rebuild the middle class of our country. You know, it's not easy. I wish it was easy. It's not easy, and we've seen 8 years of decisions that either didn't help or made things worse. But we have an opportunity now because of changes starting at the top in the White House. What do you think of our new president? Pretty exciting. And to have the opportunities to have majorities in the House and the Senate that support his vision and his values is also pretty exciting. Roan mentioned last year that I authored a green-collar jobs initiative in the Senate budget resolution as a member of the Budget Committee, laying out areas that we should begin to invest in. One was retooling, and we've begun to do that in terms of the auto industry and manufacturing and batteries through a section of the energy bill which I authored.